Hello, hello. Welcome to Gardening Plus with Joy and Healy. How is
Hi, Joy.
everyone? Hi, Healy. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. You know how it
Good,
is.
good. Well, let me introduce us with our new backgrounds. Woo-hoo.
That's right. I know. Look.
I've
You
been
know we
looking for
try to
this.
switch it up every once in a while.
Yep. I tried to try to be seasonal,
Yeah.
but I've run out of stuff. But I've been looking for this for months. I'm like, I know I have this, and then it turned out it was in my kid's closet. Just packed away, but it wasn't in the actual linen closet with all the other stuff. I'm like,
I'm
you
glad
son
you
of a.
found it.
And you got some nice. I like that bluish flower.
Yeah, these are blue roses, and actually they are very old, probably about 4 or 5 years old, but they were fresh, of course, originally, but they dried so well, and I just, put them in a vase and I kept them. I normally press them,
Oh,
but these I just set it. I mean, and I don't, this is the first time I've moved them in probably about 3 years from where I had them, which is only like the second place they've ever been in since I got them. And as soon as this live stream is over, I'm gonna put them back where they belong. But yeah, something besides just the white wall, because my little pink wrinkle background, RIP'd on us. So, just trying to switch it up a little bit.
you get too much hair product on it. Just
Girl.
kidding.
No, so that one is the one that I keep downstairs. No, not truth be told. And this just a little
Awesome.
behind the scenes because we all family. The tape went out on me and it just kept like peeling back. And I got tired of like
Get sick of
retaping it and
it.
retaping it. So I was like, you know what? We just gonna take it down and
All
we just
right.
gonna have a little white wall for a while. But now I have some pretty flowers.
Yeah, yeah. Just start adding stuff like from your garden, start harvesting and filling up the
And
background.
then doing, yeah, I don't like the way, I don't know if it's just what I'm seeing, but this shirt, I don't know if it's the stripes on it, but it's looking mazy, like it's
Yeah,
moving.
definitely. Yeah.
This, oh,
Hurting my eyes. Just kidding.
I'm sorry.
Kidding.
I might need to go to voice only because yeah, it's distracting me too. You know what, Joy, for real, like go ahead and do your thing.
Okay.
Step me out. I'm gonna go change my shirt and I'm gonna come back.
No.
But it's every time I move, so I'm gonna have to just stay out the detail, and I can do the live stream like this.
All right, fine. Do what you need to do. But it's good. It's all right.
Okay, I'll keep it then. But
All
I
right.
know next time, don't wear a striped shirt.
All right. I am Joy. This is my co host, Healy. We are two coast to coast gardeners sharing our beyond the basics experience, intermediate knowledge, and advanced antics. Watch the scrolling messages for important information and feel free to exchange ideas, tips, and tricks with each other in the chat. All caps for us for questions and lowercase for normal chatting. Please don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, push that notification bell, and share. And whether you're here for the live or replay, enjoy the show.
Yes. So
I'll go with. You want to do intro first for you or me?
yeah, I'll do my intro. So I'm Healy. I'm in Southern California and I'm in zone 10B/11A. The winters are very mild here. Last winter was just might as well have been fall. The summers are warm. We got actually a heat wave early this year in March, but it's usually not like that. But our summers are moderately warm. We get maybe into the upper 80s for a few days, maybe 2 or 3 times, and that's definitely heat waves and we panicking, during those times. But um we get very little rain throughout the year. Our rainy season is basically like, let's say, Thanksgiving to Valentine's Day. I'm just trying to put like time frame. So like November to February, we get a few sprinkles in March, a few sprinkles in April. very few sprinkles in April, and then it doesn't rain again until, I don't know, almost the next November. But with the moderate climate, it does lend to near year-round growing, and so that's exactly what I do. I've been gardening here in Southern California for about 9 years now. I have a small suburban backyard garden. Check out my channel, watch my backyard shenanigans videos. You'll see the layout and setup, which is actually new for 2026. Most of my garden is above ground, so buckets, raised bed, planters, anything above ground, I will try to grow something in it. And besides 3 fruit trees, so I have an apple tree, I have a lemon tree, and I have a cherry tree in the ground. Everything else is above ground. So that's my garden, and that's what I grow.
All right. I am Joy. I'm in New York State Hardness Zone 6B. I utilize all manners of gardening styles, in-ground, raised beds, containers, indoor growing. And let's see, I have a flock of 14 chickens, 2 of those being roosters. And let me jump ahead here. We are currently, it's just been like today and maybe yesterday, today, and tomorrow, a heat wave basically. It's going to be in the 90s today.
Oh,
but
wow.
then it's going to go back to spring weather, after that. So we did not turn on the AC. We came close, but we're like, just open the windows. I am dying right now. It is so hot. I'm
You gotta have
sweating
your
right now.
fan. You put your little fan on instead of the AC. Put
I
the
didn't
fan.
well, I got fans, but I didn't want it here like making noise. But so the windows are open, so the chickens are every other second. So annoying. You don't realize. You think I'd gotten used to it by now, but since the windows have been closed all this time, it was like muted. But now that
I
it's
don't
been
hear
like,
them. I don't. It's fine. It's fine.
let's see. So 6B New York, pretty moderate. We get let's see, average temperatures of hot, like in the 80s, except for today in the 90s. But I have a feeling this is going to be a hot one. We had a super cold winter, one we haven't had in like 10 years, I think is what they were saying. I feel like this is going to be a hot one. There's droughts all over the the country, and I feel like we're next. So I'm so sad if that's going to be the case. But we're going to do our best. On average, I get 150 days of growing span, but you never know with the weather, so I err on the 120, and I try to keep things within that. Average last frost is like earlier in May. There's been plenty of times where we've had freak freezes at the end of May, so
oh wow,
I look at the 10-day forecast to make sure that's not the case. This is one of those years where it's clear. There's still a couple of nights in the dip into the high 40s, but I think that's like an hour or two is not going to, be a detriment to anything, your tomatoes or whatever. So I'm confident, knock on wood, that it's good to go. I've already put stuff out there. So yeah, that's the story for me.
You know what? And I'm sorry. I just wanted to say right quick. So, I just learned this yesterday. So speaking of, heat and high temps and stuff like that, there's fires in California
already.
Near the Palisades. And I think not exactly in the Palisades where we had those horrible fires last year, but near that area, there's fires and it's burned, so many hundreds or maybe so many thousands of acres. I think it's in the hundreds of acres already. So, definitely if you are in that area or if you know someone in that area, our thoughts are definitely with them that, the families, the pets make it out safely, because a home, even though it's very expensive out here, homes and things and stuff, you can replace. But family, that's a different story. So, definitely our thoughts are with you there. And all over the country, if anybody is dealing with, weather conditions or, just situations, our thoughts are with you because this is Gardening Plus. So, we do talk about a few extra things. So
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Let's see. G Mama says, I just learned my zone has changed to 6 p.m. I'm still zone 6.
But 5 degrees warmer on
Yeah,
average
on average.
overall, sometimes maybe.
All right. So if anybody want to come up and say hi, share your experiences recently, the chat, the stream, whatchamacallit, is scrolling in the bottom. It's also in the chat at the top. You might have to scroll up there. What else? Oh, let's say hi to the people. So we've got MJ Knack and G Mama Gross. Hello, hello. And prayers to California. Yeah, Palisades, that issue was just last year. So there's nothing to burn over there. So it's moved over next door.
That's right. And a lot of people still have not even
built and rebuilt.
Begin to rebuild. Yeah. So it's, it's horrible to have just gone through that last year, and then, here it is once again. But this is about that season, especially in that area, because it gets so dry in the winds. It's the winds that pick up that really, get it going. Now, y'all don't mind me. This is lemon zinger tea.
Ooh,
but if you can see, it's in my milk glass container. So at the farmer's market, this is Claravale Farm, somewhere in California. But they will come to our farmer's market, and they have the cow's milk, but they also have goat's milk. And so I would, get the goat's milk. And if you bring your container back, you get like 50 cents off or whatever. But anyway, the guy stopped coming. I have several of these bottles though. So now I drink 10 of them. So, and I have Celestial Seasonings, lemon zinger with lemon.
Nice. Yeah, I would prefer goat's milk. I remember feeding that to my kids when they were babies instead of cow's milk. But, they don't make them in gallons, and we are consuming way more milk than
more. Yeah, it's not easy to find here. I mean, of course, it's in like the Whole Foods and it's in the Sprouts grocery stores, but it is like $1 zillion for a half a gallon.
Right.
And I just imagine that I'm drinking goat's milk.
Your brain will be tricked and give you the nutrients of goat milk.
I know. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Now we want to hear from you, chatters, on today's topic, which I have to say it wasn't last minute, but it was last minute, like put together. I mean, it's something that I've been thinking about, but didn't really condense into something to talk about. So it might be a little bit all over the place. So today's, if you want to chime in, well, you can chime in anytime. But my question for you is, how are you sowing positivity that you may reap benefits down the line? Now that sounds, there's a word for it. Narcissistic, is that the word for it?
No,
it's not.
Gardeners will understand this. Now, maybe people won't catch it if you're not like a gardener. If you're new to the space, you may not catch it. But no, I don't think it's narcissistic at all.
Okay.
I think it's responsible, actually.
Yeah, thank you.
I do. I think it's responsible.
Because like my brain is very like cut and dry sometimes, where I view relationships in its black and white format as we're just using each other, basically. I do for you, you do for me, like the most basic concept. But obviously life and people are all different in different manners. So there's more to it than that. But the question for today is sowing positivity in the gardening sense, so that someday it might come back to you. And I'll have, when we get to the main topic, I will elaborate.
Okay.
All right. So we're up to what's been going on since the last live stream. Would you like to start, Healy?
I will like to start. Okay.
So this
happened I know, it's just the violin, the cheese, let's get it all. I started to put on like this big elaborate wrapping and stuff around my finger. So I cut my finger a few days ago. I was cleaning my shears
Mm.
and I cut my finger and it just messed up everything because it's a pretty deep cut. Like it's healing now, but it's a pretty deep cut. And of course, gardening, even with a band-aid, even with gloves, I didn't want to really be messing with anything. And one of my like to-do list things and involved kind of like mixing stuff together and spraying, and I just didn't want to get that on my finger, so my garden like progress is delayed. I think I'm probably going to start some stuff like tomorrow probably, because it's been, I don't know, maybe 4 days or so, so I'm okay with that. But I cut my finger cleaning my shears from
Mm.
pruning powdery mildew from my tomato plants. So if you see my channel and I had all of those volunteer tomato plants and I was gonna well, I didn't know where I was gonna put them. And I had those two small raised beds that I was gonna put flowers in. And I was like, oh well, that's where we'll put the tomatoes.
Mhm.
Well, I didn't know what kind of tomatoes, and I'm pretty sure they're indeterminate now that I'm, kind of looking at them grow. Even if they're determinate, I still crammed like 5
Oh no.
those raised beds are like 2 by 3.5, and I put 5 tomatoes in each of them. So of course, with the April showers, well, not really showers, but just the overcast, the increased humidity, the tomatoes crammed together. I got powdery mildew, which I'm not really worrying about it, but I'm not just gonna let it sit there and grow. So I have to do something about it.
Mhm.
But I was pruning the leaves off and just the affected areas. And I was like, okay, let me clean the shears in between each plant, or at least between each bed. And I cut myself. So that kind of, cut everything out. But I am gonna mix together, and I'm looking at it now. I think I put a community post or something on it. So I'm gonna go with like the kind of lowest minimalist DIY thing. And for me, that's gonna be baking soda and peppermint castile soap. And
Okay.
I'm gonna mix that in some water, spray that, wait a few days, see if it works, and then go from there. So other things I've been doing, I have dragon fruit. If you have that picture. So y'all, this is my first viable
Cute.
dragon fruit bud, and it's growing. There's actually 3 on this one cutting, and this is in a 1-gallon pot. This is a sugar dragon, and thank goodness, because sugar dragon is self-fertile, so I don't have to worry about getting pollen or whatever from another plant or somewhere else, because I don't have any other pollen. So, yo, I am just so, and there's one other, like a close-up picture.
Mhm.
Yo, I'm just so, but the ants are enjoying it just as much as I am. So, we'll see about that. So I've been watching that grow. I'm just, I'm just so nervous because I don't know what to do. Like I put a little like 0 10 10 fertilizer because I want to encourage the bud growth. All of the other dragon fruit, y'all, it's just uh leaves, stems, segments, arms, whatever you want to call it, for days, months, and years. But this in a 1-gallon pot is, the one to bud. So I've been watching that. I'm just watching and waiting, and just I'm so excited, y'all. I just can't hardly um
Nice.
and I've been purchasing gardening supplies. So not to just really get into it at all, but stuff has been happening, supplies, could possibly be affected. So I've been hitting up the sales at my local garden center and like the local big box stores. I just uploaded a video this morning sharing some of the stuff that I had purchased. And I think I did a community post or maybe YouTube short or whatever on some previous purchases. So pumice, I'm really trying to replace the majority of the perlite that I have in my garden with pumice. Not 100%. I'm still going to use perlite, but so pumice, perlite. I'm looking at some of the stuff. I got 2 big bags of Hollytone fertilizer. I got a big bag of biochar, just supplies and tools and things just so I can have them on hand. I
Right.
don't want to be in the middle of the gardening season and then come up short on a supply and then for whatever reason I can't get them. So that's what I've been doing. And then over the next 2 weeks, y'all, my seedlings. So just, I think I need to start over. I do have some seedlings that have germinated, but I was so busy doing all kind of other stuff. I was half paying attention to them, half not. I think I'm gonna have to start over. And what I'm gonna do is, because I'm gonna use my square gardening square to kind of map out the areas in my raised bed. All of the individual seed cells, like the soil, I'm gonna pop that out and put it in the spot. Whether the seed germinated or not, I'm still gonna put all of that soil in the spot, and then I'm just gonna put another seed
Okay.
and map that out. So I'll be starting to work on that this week. It's gonna take me a while though, because I have 144 cells, to put around. So it's gonna take me a while. So I think I'm gonna start with the 15-gallon containers and my 5-gallon buckets. And then I might do the raised beds last. Y'all, I don't know. I might like mix in between, but that's what I'm gonna be doing over the next 2 weeks. Also, y'all, Kurt's baby doll. If you know Kurt's baby doll, y'all, that watermelon, those seeds still have not germinated. And that's been since I don't like the end. It's been 2 weeks. It's been 2 full weeks, maybe 2.5 weeks, and they have not germinated at all. I don't know if I sowed the seeds too deep or we've had a lot of overcast days because May is May gray for us. So a lot of the mornings are overcast. The nights are in, sometimes the low 60s. I don't know what's going on, but the seeds did not germinate at all. So I'm going to sow some more seeds, same soil, I'm going to try that again. But basically over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be starting my garden from scratch in the middle of May. This sounds like last year.
I was gonna say it.
This sounds just like last year, doesn't it, Joy? But
All right, let's get G Mama's comment here. She experienced downy mildew and now can't unsee it everywhere. Oh no. Now, when you said something about when you start looking like, and I thought, oh no, she's gonna start looking powdery, and we're gonna be like, because you cut yourself with a shear, and I'm like, you infected yourself somehow.
I know.
Start growing stuff off you.
That's the first thing I thought about. I ran inside. Soap and water, triple antibiotic ointment, the Band-Aid with the ointment, wrapped it up.
And
I know if my finger, if you see me with videos and my finger just look bigger and bigger, or start looking like a cauliflower, or just
And G Mama's starting her first new raised bed and learn how to use the green stalk. Awesome. Yeah, the green stalk is you gotta really get there a few years before you figure that one out.
It's tricky. I know I have seeds in my green stalk now. Some of them are germinating, some not. It's a learning curve with the green stalk.
Yeah. And what'd she say here? Some new queen watermelon to germinate. I don't know what's not going on. Oh no, you guys are making me feel like I gotta put lots of seeds down. But
you know what? And like I said, yeah, I don't know if it's still because it's cool or overcast or I don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Actually, I have if you show up the picture with the flower right quick.
Yeah.
So this is from those mystery melons that I got from the Dixie line, the little spring sale or whatever, and I got 2 melon plants. They're supposed to be melons. I'm not sure exactly what these things are, but these 2 flowers, they literally just opened up. They must have opened up like early this morning or late last night because they were not open yesterday.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know what they are, but melon wise, and I don't know if it's because they were already plants when I got them. They're the only melon squash kind of thing that has germinated. My seedlings, none of the melons, the cantaloupe, the pumpkin, none of them have germinated.
Mhm.
So I don't know, G Mama. Are we, yeah, we gonna blame the weather. We gonna blame the weather because obviously it's not us. Obviously. I mean,
We've done everything. All right. Yeah, since the last live stream, the beginning of that week was a lot of moving plants all over the place, back and forth all the time. But
mhm.
the main event was the plant sale. I finally Mother's Day weekend got rained out for this community, yard sale that I found in the town, many towns over from me. so so that got postponed to just this past weekend, and it was fantastic. The sun was shining, and if the wind wasn't blowing, it would have been brutal. But luckily, the wind was just right. Well, sometimes it was a little too windy, too blustery. There, my tomatoes were flopping all over the place, but nothing flew away.
Thank goodness.
Oh, and I had, let me get a picture. The water view, I got a water spot. So I had this beautiful view.
Wow.
I had my plants there. And monetarily wise, I did good. I haven't done this good since the first year. It's taken me this long to, reap back what I was expecting I should be making. So I was
That's good.
very happy, and, time well spent. And sometimes those fees, it was only $20 for the fee, but sometimes that like irks you because it's like, oh, there goes my profit on $20.
Yeah.
But I felt good, that $20 was well spent. And I was able to, so, you never know how a sale is going to go. Like, I think if Mother's Day weekend, I would have definitely gotten rid of more stuff because obviously there was already sales going on. The big box stores have all their stuff. And like the diehards are definitely out there early for, I don't know why, but I had enough people, even people who were just like, I just buy stuff to buy stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, go ahead.
Well, look, buy it here. Buy it from me.
But yeah, I was able to fit everything in my truck, in my vehicle that I needed to take. And you still got to take boxes and bags, and I also brought it's a yard sale, so you can bring home stuff. So I brought like a couple of tchotchkes from the house that I was trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
So I got rid of a couple of those, but mainly it was plants. But I was able to fit all that in the vehicle, which was the most important thing, and the table. I didn't bring an umbrella, which was a good thing because of that wind factor. I would have been having to wrestle with that. But I also was able to take better notes in between you'd get rushes and then quiet and rush and quiet.
Yeah.
So I was able to take better notes on what plants I should do more of and what I don't need so much of. Example, basil. I don't know what the heck was possessing me that I didn't have enough basil. I should have twice as much basil as tomatoes. So more basil for next year, and then less eggplants. Eggplants, not too many people, are into growing them. So that was some of the notes. And I priced mine at 4 each or 3 for 10. So the 3 for 10, definitely people like that. But even $4, because everything at the big box store is $5 and up. So even the $4 was perfectly good price. And then what else? And then more recently, since after the plant sale, it's been go, go, go. I've been transplanting. And it's like the worst time. I don't know what it is. It's like you got like a commitment to do, and then all of a sudden 10 other things have to be done right before that instead of like putting it off next week. Nope, can't do it. So I've been trying to get rid of all the little containers I have out there because they're not going to make it if I don't. So I've been just day and night. I had to cancel another thing because I was like, nope, the plants have to go out. I can't do anything. I didn't feed my kids for hours last night. It's like, are we going to have dinner? I'm like, no.
But you know what though? This kind of leads into the topic for today. So
Let's see. G Mama says I grew many eggplants. I didn't plant any this season. Yeah, it's not an eggplant year.
I still have my same eggplant that's been in that pot. It refuses to
Oh
die,
yeah,
and y'all
they
already
don't
know
have.
if it has, yep, one green cell in it. But you know what though? I sprayed it with something. What I spray? I was spraying something else, and I saw like some webbing of spider mites. So I tried to spray just the webbing and the spider
Oh,
mites, whatever it was. I mean, I forgot. It was like neem oil, probably neem oil, Castile soap and water. So not
mhm,
like a commercial chemical, thing or whatever.
right.
But I noticed that the leaves on my eggplant are speckled. Like the plant is still growing and stuff like that, but and I tried to, you spray when it's overcast, when it's,
Right.
whatever. But that eggplant is very resilient, and y'all know me, I'm gonna let it grow. So shout out to the eggplant.
And then also, I'm gonna be, yeah, over the next 2 weeks, I'm gonna be sifting compost.
Mhm.
Okay, this is new. I have the bag waiting. Kale and clay. They use it. It's a powder that they spray mostly like fruit trees to keep
Mhm.
the gypsy moth, and there's another name for it, and other bugs from terrorizing the plant. But I've heard you can use it pretty much on a bunch of things. So I've heard squashes from the vine borers that people use it, spray it on the stems. So I'm gonna try that. And
Yeah.
also like the alliums, the onions and the garlic, because I get leaf miner damage. Not leaf miner. That's the one that goes through the leaves. This one, well, this
Mhm.
is kind of a leaf miner, but it's for specifically for alliums. So I'm also gonna spray a little bit on and see if it makes a difference. So far, the garlic anyway is doing good because that's already well established. But the onions are just starting out, so I think I'll concentrate on the onions to see if it makes any difference. Yeah, I think other than the usual run of the mill stuff you do in the garden day in and day out,
That's what
that's
you know what, speaking of that, I now I do remember that's what the spray was for. And it was like a tablespoon of neem oil, a tablespoon of peppermint castile soap, and 32 ounces of water. And it was for the black aphids on my
mm,
garlic that's in my green stalk. And it works. It
okay.
works. I sprayed though. I mean, because those, and you know how they say, oh, alliums, they don't have a lot of, pests and stuff. The aphids or the pests don't like it because of the strong smell, from the onions and the
Right.
garlic and the this and the that.
Yep, yep.
Those, and it's specifically the black aphids. I don't see any other color aphid on the the garlic, because they got the first year I saw them, they got my elephant garlic.
Mm.
Um, and this year they have my regular garlic, but I just put, like I said, a tablespoon of, and it maybe even been a teaspoon, somewhere between a teaspoon and a tablespoon of the neem oil and the castile soap and the water.
Mhm.
And I sprayed, and when I tell you I went to town, I went to town. I went to the country fair. I sprayed, but it worked. And I had some left over in the bottle, and that's what I sprayed on the spider mites and the eggplant. And I believe it killed them too. I saw some red aphids. If you pull up the tomato picture just right quick, I saw a couple red aphids on some of the leaves. Y'all, these are those two super beefsteaks that I had in this raised bed. This is at least a year and a half,
Mm.
maybe. And they trying to put up this the Vega wall trellis with this stuff in all of the soil
Ah,
in the bed. Y'all, please don't do that. If you ever buy a Vigo raised bed and you're thinking about getting this wall trellis, like specifically this wall trellis, please do it on an empty bed.
mm.
Obviously, it's possible to do it when it's full, but please. But this tomato plant, and it's two. I have, as you can see, like all of the bottom leaves and stuff, all of that is gone.
Right.
There are ants in this bed that I'm trying to do something with. I actually bought some boric acid, 99.9% boric acid. I have borax, but and I don't want to get into it, but anyway, I bought boric acid.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna mix it with sugar and water and put like little containers of it, at the top of the raised bed and see if the ants will, take the bait and just die.
Mm.
But this tomato plant is, well, two. I keep saying one. It's two super beefsteaks. And you can see like the little flowers and stuff or whatever, but this thing is just growing and growing and growing. But I think I got this wall trellis just in the right time, because when those tomatoes come in, they're gonna need, like some heavy trellising. But yeah, the black aphids, my garlic, all my alliums, whoever said that aphids don't like alliums, I have to disagree.
Right.
But I got something for them though. Seem like the neem oil and the Castile soap and water is working.
Awesome. All right. Next up, what to direct sow, transplant, and harvest this month? Well, it's go time. Do it all. I am direct sowing. Let's see. Seeds of cucumbers, zucchini, winter squash. Even though usually I start my winter squashes early, because of the plant sale, I wasn't thinking properly, and I sold all of my winter squashes and didn't keep any.
But that's a good thing, though. It's a good
Right. And then melons, watermelons, cantaloupe, cucumber melons, whatever melons you want. Okra and corn. I just did my corn. And then I'm actually going to reseed basil, because I also didn't have enough for myself for basil. So that should be okay. It's just like if it gets too hot. So yeah, I'm going to have to keep it in the shade, because I think it might get dried up too quick if I don't. Anyway, so that's what I'm direct sowing. And what are we? End of May already. Oh my gosh. No, it's going too fast. All right. What am I doing here? Transplanting. Let's see. All the stuff, the tomatoes, the peppers, the eggplant, the flowers, some of the flowers, sweet potatoes I put in, jicama, which I got 2 plants to come up over the winter. So the jicamas are in. I have a bunch of stuff. You'll have to watch the videos to find out.
That's right. I watched your May tour too, and so much green and growing. And then I looked at my yard and
come on.
I just had to watch the video. I had to watch your video again because I just wanted to see more green and growth and stuff. And
you'll get there.
Very nice.
And I have whatchamacallit. Yeah, I have some other flowers that are still too tiny, so I feel like I need to give them a little bit more so they have some more roots to hold on to the soil. So that's going to be pushed back till another week, or maybe earlier January, earlier in June. Oh, I did want to remind those transplanters. So these are plants that you can bury the stem. So don't worry about if it's too much soil on top of them. Tomatoes, obviously, I think we've all heard bury tomatoes. For cooler weather people, maybe zone 5, 4, I would do a mound on the tomatoes. I wouldn't dig deep, because underneath there might still be cool. But if you mound it up, then that will stay warm. So that's worked out for me really well. You could do eggplants, cauliflower, peppers, broccoli, spinach, chilies, potatoes, and cucumbers. Those, if you have them started, or bought them started, you can bury the stem on those. And then as far as if you're still just starting, if you want to possibly speed things up, I don't know if the science is concrete on this. These are seeds you should soak, not overnight necessarily, because I've heard that might actually diminish your chances. So beans, sunflowers, cucumbers, peas. It's a little late for peas for most of us. Squash, beets, and pumpkins. Those seeds you can soak to help them, absorb some of that and be raring to go when they get out there in the elements. And then some other flowers that I'm going to be sprinkling out there. We got the cosmos, zinnias I started, so that will be transplants. I have started up nasturtiums and marigolds, so those will just be transplanted. What else? Yeah, that's my list.
You know what? And just jumping on what you said about the flowers. So I was thinking about the recommendations that you gave me as the master flower gardener of the two of us. And those hanging baskets that I had on my fence. So I took them off. They're on my workbench outside. They're still in the same spot that they were when I took them off the fence. But we talked about last live stream, we talked all about flowers, and we talked about warm weather flowers and hot weather flowers. And I do have some seeds. I have zinnia seeds, I have cosmos seeds, I have sunflower seeds. Well, I'm not gonna put a sunflower seed in a
Right.
little bit of thing, but I am gonna sow flower seeds in those,
Mm,
in those baskets. Maybe I can start with that. Maybe I can start with that. Yo, I'm just really thinking about this cut on my finger and how it's delaying me. And every day is like a day that I'm, like losing time. But so I am gonna, sow those warm weather flowers in those pots, and we'll see what happens for that. May is the month where I feel like you being in zone 6 and me being in zone 10, we kind of like evening the playing field, kind of
mhm.
starting this month, because
Right.
some of the same things that you're direct sowing, some of the same things that you're starting, is some of the same things that are good for me to direct sow and start in my area. So for direct sow, beans, sweet corn, cucumbers, melons, if you have warm season lettuce, because
Mm,
I way back in the day, I thought that lettuce, like all lettuce, was just only cool weather,
right.
and as soon as the sun come up, they bolt. But there
Mhm.
are warm season varieties, and I apologize for not being more prepared on the like specific names, but I do have some warm season or more warmer weather tolerant lettuce that won't bolt as soon as they germinate. So I'm gonna direct sow that. Like you said, the okra, the peppers, so hot peppers, sweet peppers, bell peppers, those are good to direct sow. Still the southern peas, sweet potato slips, like you said, pumpkins, the summer and winter squash, tomatoes, those things, I can direct sow in my area. But like I said, I feel like this is where, whether you in Southern California or whether you in New York, we kind of evening up the playing field for starting. If you want to start seeds in my area, the same thing. So if you don't direct, so you have time to start. But at this point in my area, you just direct sowing everything, unless you don't have space in your area. Maybe you still have some stuff that's overwintered and it's still not quite ready to pull up, or you haven't done your last harvest.
Right.
Then you can start things in seed trays, starter cup, solo cup, whatever, just to get those things going. But then give your plants that's already in your raised beds or in the ground or in the containers just time to finish up. But at this point, we're direct sowing, you know, pretty much everything. And as far as transplanting and harvesting, like all the things, just just like all the things.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned the lettuce. I do have some lettuce out there. It's so beautiful. But
Mhm.
yeah, they look great. And I don't know that they're into whether they're going to be summer hardy, which would suck because I planned to take them out so that I could put my like melons in there. So I'm like, oh, you guys better decide soon because
You know what? If
you're
they're
going to
small
need to
enough,
fix
maybe you can take them in and put them in like a 1 gallon pot. Just,
it.
pull them up to
Right.
like get your space. And then, you know
Yeah.
what? Because I actually thought about that for small things, even like micro tomatoes, or
Mm,
even probably I might try a patio tomato. 1 gallon might be too small, but just like 1 gallon pots of little things, and I can grow those and free up space in my raised beds on my garden space
right.
for like other plants. I'm gonna find somewhere to.
Yeah, I know. I feel like that. I forgot to mention the harvest. So there's just a small window left for me for the asparagus. Most of them are already tall and ferny, but once in a while you still got a little stalk shooting up. So you can still harvest some asparagus. I like lettuce. Arugula, if it hasn't bolted. Mizuna's still good for me. Spinach is starting to getting sized up so that it's not just like baby leaves. It's starting to get some growth. So spinach now is good harvest. And then the bok choy is one of those Asian greens that do not tolerate heat. They bolt lickety split, but you can eat the flowers. So, and they're nice and tender. So I sauteed some last night. Perfectly delicious. Go with that. I am though looking for next year for more heat resistant varieties of those greens. As always, always trying to be better.
Yes.
All right. Now let's get to the topic of the day.
I know it's past 45 minutes.
We've been yakking. Well, this is good because then I can just ramble and be done with it. No need to prolong this nonsense. All right. So what I'm mainly getting at for today's topic is volunteering. But first, let's get through the spiel before we get there. All right. This is about making gardening easier for yourself. In the winter months, we talk about the tools and the tricks we might use, like getting raised beds, self-irrigating containers. If it's a special kind of clipper because you've got arthritis, kneelers because our knees, ain't young anymore. Or recently I discovered like dollies come in all different shapes and sizes. And I'm like, ooh, that one looks good. I want that one. Yeah. Just to make moving your plants, especially if you're an indoor-outdoor type of gardener, moving your plants easier with these dollies. I'm talking about like the flat ones, mainly like super low to the ground so that you can just like tilt your pot over, tilt them back instead of having to wrench them up there. So every tool in your shed should make gardening easier and more enjoyable. One element we often neglect is the human aspect, or human resources as I call it. But if you're a control freak like me, somebody else in my garden. I don't want you, deciding where to plant something, what weeds to pull, what orientation the bed should be in. That's my space. I want it the way I want it. But at some point, you gotta loosen it up. You gotta let other help in. So as you age, as I am aging, or God forbid,
stop it.
Or God forbid a medical situation befalls you, you might find yourself in a situation where a few extra hands is all it takes to keep yourself and your garden in good health. So the idea of this volunteering nonsense, I've always liked the idea. I always envied people who did it, and I'm like, I want to do that. Why am I not doing that? But I always pushed it off. It's like, no, I'm busy enough. I got enough things to do. But my kid is getting his black belt in Taekwondo, and he has to, write essays and this and that. And one of the things is he has to do some volunteer hours. But he's not of age, like high school age, where volunteering is left, right, and center. So I had to really go out there and try to find something for him to do. And we don't belong to a church, so usually that's an easy one, do some churchy thing. And so and it was still cold, and there wasn't really much going on volunteer-wise when it's cold out. But I was just looking through the social media stuff, and somebody posted something about a plant sale for a garden. So I was like, oh, that sounds good for myself. So I went to the site, and I started going through the menu, and it says volunteers needed. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I clicked on it. I was like, oh, well, he's a kid. So I emailed them and I asked, I'm going to be there. I'm going to help him and make sure he doesn't do anything stupid. So will you let a younger kid volunteer? And they're like, yeah, sure. No problem. But you have to go through the New York State has a site for volunteers. It's called volunteernewyork.org. I never knew about it. So it's, find a whole slew of volunteering activities. I'm like, holy crap, look at this.
Mm-hmm.
So we signed this up. I still had to lie on the application because they won't take under 14. So I still had to lie that he was already
He's 14 today.
Yeah. But yeah, so we went. We did. It was the weather was still cool a few weeks ago. So we like the first time we deadheaded daffodils. The second time was the tulip picking. So I got free tulips from that. And then this last weekend,
I remember the tulip story. Yeah.
Then this last weekend was brutal because it was so hot, and I'd already come off the day before sweating in my plant sale, and now I'm here again working in the field sweating because they're doing a trial on roses where they're trying to get a variety that's very hardy to just no human interaction. So it's just virgin soil. I mean, we weeded and we broke up the soil. But other than that, they're just going to plunk in these kinds of roses and they're going to just set it and forget it and see if they can come up with some other, super high breed of roses.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very grueling day. But because they were also having their plant sale that day, they gave us vouchers, $25 off for both of us. I thought it was going to be one of us. It was for both of us. So that was $50.
I would have went crazy.
No, I'm not. So my kid, he likes strange things. So he got this. It's called a frizzle sizzle. It's a house plant, so now I have to take care of it. But it's so cute. But for me, I got this is the Joe Pie weed, which I had bought. I had bought, like a bare root last year, but it didn't take. And then this little one in the front is a milkweed, world milkweed. So it is a host to the monarch. Yes. So above all praying that these transplant well, and I won't have to keep replanting them because I really like these plants to be in my yard.
Yeah.
So I paid $5 for all these nice plants.
Wow.
So the point of that story is that, I put myself out there, and my son obviously, but I put myself out there, worked really hard. It was not easy, labor, and you get rewarded for that. And maybe that's not what volunteering is about. You're not expecting to be rewarded, but sometimes you do. And that's awesome. All right, let me get back on track here. So it's not just, let's say monetary or things. It's not about that. It's also the connections. You get to talking to people. You gain their perspective on how you plant things, what you grow, disease, pests, the weather. You get that back from them. And then now you are building this net of people that one day you might need to reach out to. And then instead of, putting up an ad on online asking for help weeding, and some high school kid comes over and be like, "Oh, I'm here." Now you have real experienced people who know what they're looking at and know what they're doing. And you feel confident in knowing them already, even if it's just for a little bit. You should just be able to discern who's a nice person and who isn't that you want in your space. And now you have that network of people. And in the community we have now geopolitically, and everybody's always talking about community this and community that. We're not really thinking of it in this aspect of building the community this way. We're usually, relying on our close friends and maybe family. But it's okay to go out there and search, and not necessarily search. They'll just be there. They'll just be there if you put yourself out there. And then you can do the whole route of these are people you can barter with because they'll be also growing stuff, even if it's flowers. You can barter. I'm not saying like end of world, situation here. I'm just talking everyday things. You can share recipes. You can share equipment. Equipment is one of those things where like, who can afford a chicken plucker, let's say? Because I have chickens. Do I want to pluck them? No. But if you find someone, there's this area has enough people with chickens, maybe somebody has a chicken plucker, or they know somebody who has a chicken plucker. Because who wants to buy a whole chicken plucker just for a couple of chickens, let's say? Or another big ticket item is a freeze dryer. Who's going to spend $3,000 on a freeze dryer? What if somebody already has one? You just need a few hours for a few things. I am sure you can figure out some compromise that you can all benefit. Like obviously you can freeze dry more, share what you freeze dried with them. That's super simple like that. Yeah. So this is how you can become sufficient without being so alone at it. So it's not just self-sufficiency, but more community-minded sufficiency. All right. Well, I guess that was my spiel for today, as far as the title being help you to help me. Just to say that, yeah, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and reach out and be a good person, because that will come back to you in one form or another. And it's not negative. Like I sometimes think that it's just like, I'm just using them. I'm being nice to them so they can be nice to me. It's not like that. And let's see. G Mama mentioned earlier when I had posed the question, she said, I'm starting to help support more people to grow, even though I already consume a lot of good content, and I'm finding even older folks enjoy help. Now, I know you also were doing community service volunteering, weren't you?
Yeah. So and I still do it. So there are several community gardens, not really in my immediate area. And you talk about putting yourself out there. I actually have to drive a little ways, to volunteer and to help others. But you have said so many important points, but just in the question, like right at the beginning, things that you can do now that can benefit you later. I have met so many people, and isn't it wonderful meeting like-minded people? Because not everybody is into gardening.
Right.
And not, and unless you're part of a gardening group, or in spaces where gardeners are always there, it's, you might be the only person on your block that's growing anything. So going out and volunteering at the community gardens, helping out at the library, because a lot of our libraries have seed libraries. And just helping with that, you meet a lot of people. You can learn a lot of things, and you form and develop this network. And like you said, so then when you need help with some of these expensive tools, or some of this back-breaking hard labor, instead of you just being like, oh my God, I gotta spend tens, hundreds, thousands of dollars on this equipment or this tool, or it's gonna take me a week to do this back-breaking project, because I got to do it by myself. Now, you can post in some like community thing, or at your next volunteer opportunity, or your next like garden group meeting, you can just say, hey, I'm working on this, or hey, does anybody have this or that? And you'll be amazed and surprised at how many people actually want to help you. And many times, like for nothing. Not, yeah, I did this for you this week, so you help me with this next week. No, the video that I uploaded this morning, where I got those seeds, from one of the garden groups that I'm a part of. A lot of the seeds were, older. See, most of them were like 23, 24, 25, but I had a couple of them that was from 2010. But if y'all know me and old seeds, we like this. But I'm just saying, like, seeds, tools, soil. One of my other garden groups that I'm in, y'all know earlier this year, I got all of that compost soil, like many 5-gallon buckets, and I went back twice. All of that free. I volunteer a couple hours. Well, it's like 4 hours twice a month, but it's not, like I'm not about to go to the hospital after I finish volunteering. Sometimes the stuff is like real easy, And, in return, I get to take advantage, of getting something for free that will cost me maybe $100 or more. It's such a quiet. I know what time it is, but it is to me, you're helping yourself, you're helping somebody else, you're helping your local community, and even online. I think even with this live stream, you know, even if we aren't like directly giving somebody like exact, I don't know, direct information to help them, I still think that we're contributing to the online gardening community. To me, this is part of us volunteering. We're
No.
putting ourselves, out there. And I'm sure it's the same thing for you, Joy, but people, they write me emails. I've had people send me cards, to my PO box. And please, look us up. Joy and I, we have our contact information and stuff like that. You can email us, you can send us, cards, you can send us things in the mail, ask us questions and stuff like that. If we don't know the answer, we'll tell you. But then, we can tell you, hey, I don't know the answer, but here is a reference, here is a resource, here's another YouTube channel. Oh, you know what? I just saw last week, so and so on this channel was talking about the same thing. Maybe they can help. Just the whole volunteering, help you to help me to help us. It's a real thing and it works. So, today's topic to me was very important. We try to keep things light, we try to like joke and laugh and stuff, but um I think our topics are very important. I think they're timely. And y'all, I'm hold on. I know I did not just see the first. I know I didn't see no beetle out there.
Oh
Y'all
no.
look. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No,
They're
no,
not supposed to
no.
come till June. It's supposed to be like the middle to the end of June, basically like the 4th of July to Labor Day. But
No.
sometime they come in June. But we had a warm winter, so y'all,
Mm.
that better have been a dragonfly. And maybe I just, because it kind of caught me out the corner of my eye. Yo, and I still have a whole garden to plant.
Oh no.
But you know what? So I'm gonna need some volunteers.
Swat some
I need
bugs.
help. You know what I'm saying? Like I need help, y'all. Help me. But yeah, the volunteering is, very. It to me is important. It helps both parties, all parties, and all, all in all. And it could be a productive way, and you can get help in ways that you didn't even know, apart from just like the actual physical planting seeds and, gardening and stuff. You can get like whole health, like mental support, emotional support, of course, the physical support of
Right.
people helping you do things. But this was
Yeah,
a good
good
topic,
point.
Joy. You hit it. You hit it on the mark today.
Thanks. All right, let's close this up. Healy has someplace to go as usual. Just kidding.
Yes, y'all.
All right, announcements. As a reminder, Gardening Plus podcast. Why'd you write that?
I know. I think it's a podcast. I think it's a.
All right, all right. Is normally live streamed at 2 week intervals and alternate between our two channels here on YouTube. Sometimes we mix it up. So subscribe to myself, Joy the Garden and Home, and at HealyMeans to make sure you are notified. If you have any ideas for future topics, put them in the chat. We are not experts, but we can be persuaded to talk about anything related to gardening. Let me let that scroll through as Healy talks about her channel. What do you got?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, my channel is multi-topic content. It started out as a natural hair channel. And then I started adding, more of my interest to that channel. Last month it was pretty much all gardening. This month I'm adding my natural hair content back into it, but like just this morning I uploaded like that seed haul and kind of store purchase a video. But if you like a little bit of information about a lot of different things, then check me out. I'm only on YouTube, so if you see me somewhere else, let me know.
AI Healy. Woo-hoo. All right. My content focuses mainly on blogs of the garden. Along the way, I sprinkle in cooking segments, unboxing, some trips. This season, I also have a series on resilience and the garden. These are interviews with people who are going through extra life obstacles and let the garden be part of their healing. The videos are sporadic, so make sure your notification bell is set to all. If you have a story to tell, hit me up. My info is in the description. Now, I'm not good at the summary part, Healy, so I'm going to skip that part.
Yeah. I mean, but we already, it's about volunteering,
right.
helping us, helping each other. Mm-hmm.
So if you're here for any part of the live stream or replay, thank you very much. Remember to like, hype, subscribe, and share. I will talk to you all again soon. Videos coming in. I have a few on the docket, so they'll be a little bit, past tense, but you'll get the gist. So talk to you all again soon. So I'll harvest more. Bye.
And until next time, be safe, be well, and be blessed.